Fans, we want to hear from you. You're encouraged to email KLU at info@kleagueunited.com or tweet at KLeagueUnited with any questions, comments or reactions. Or follow us on Facebook to ask directly during one of our live shows.
Oh, hello. I'm going to say, Ryan Walters here with the peak smugness that is Matthew Binns.
Hello.
Oh, hi, Matthew. How you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. How about you?
I bet you are. We're going to talk about how I'm feeling. We're here tonight. Pete Hampshire is joining us live from Jeonju World Cup Stadium. Pete, how we doing?
Yeah, good evening. I'm getting attacked by a few insects, but apart from that, it was a decent match, wasn't it? Especially for the Jeonbuk persuasion.
Yes, if your thing is hoping that Jeonbuk win everything as they always do, then yeah, tonight was great. It ended 2-1 to Jeonbuk Hyundai Motors, a match score that flatters Ulsan Hyundai, if we're being honest about it. And Pete, I'm just going to start where we have to start. Junior Grau started on the bench tonight.
Yeah, not only him, but also Bjorn Johnson. Yeah.
22 goals in 20 league games coming into this one for Junior Grau. And Kim Do-hoon decided, don't need him. Don't want him out there. And Matthew, how did that work out in the first half?
Well, maybe Kim Do-hoon is onto something, because until the penalty that he scored as a consolation late on, he's only actually ever scored one goal against Jeonbuk previously, which was also a consolation goal in a 3-1 defeat when Ulsan when Jeonbuk had already wrapped up the title. So Junior doesn't actually have quite the scoring pedigree against Jeonbuk, but I don't think that's a big enough reason to drop in. And it definitely didn't work out very well. Jeonbuk scoring within just over a minute of time played. Modu Barrow finding the ball out wide. It was a cross, a low cross, a low pass into Han-kyo-won. Han-kyo-won didn't touch it, did enough to put the defender off, did enough probably to put goalkeeper Cho Hyun-woo off. And it just trickled into net. Everyone thought Han-kyo-won had backheeled it, but replay showed it was still Modu Barrow who had the last touch. So 1-0, and Junior called upon within 20 minutes, or about 25, 26 minutes to try and salvage it.
And Pete, we've got to get back to this. I mean, how do you do this? How does Kim Do-hoon keep doing this? Like, how many times can you shoot yourself in the foot before you realize, oh, this is not a good idea? Like, he cowers in fear at the sight of Jeonbuk, a Jeonbuk team coming in the worst form we've seen them in years in league play, and he just set his team up to lose yet again in a big match. Not only that, but he comes into the match not having capitalized on Jeonbuk's poor form and allowing them back into this title race. What is going on?
Tonight, you couldn't have had much more of a marquee match. I mean, it's a season-defining match, and he's got his under-22 player Park Jong-in up front. I mean, it's so unfair on him as well to expect him to play in such a match and have an impact on the game. The two players on the bench, Bjorn Johnson and Junior, must have been wondering themselves. Yeah,
Bjorn Johnson must be livid. I suppose maybe if they've got another under-22 player to play elsewhere. I mean, as a Jeonbuk fan, we all know about the plight of the under-22 player. But mean, they could have found somebody else, surely, to fill in. Like, that was not what they should have done.
They have had 18 matches with Junior in the starting lineup. It ain't hard to figure out. They've done it. Oh, Pete's getting attacked.
It's because I think these are the only lights left on, so all the bugs are just deciding to come for me now.
They're just coming for you. All right. Well, we won't keep you too long there. I could rant, and I'm sure Matthew could gloat and gloat and gloat and gloat.
No, I mean, let's before I fully revel in the smugness that was the victory. I mean, let's be honest. That Ulsan, until that second half, where I think Jeonbuk actually came out and played some really good football in the second half. I think there was some good passing. I thought Kunimoto did all right in the centre midfield, but Barrow and Han Kyo-won really paired it well. Lee Yong as well was coming forward and attacking well. But until then, at the second half, coming into the second half, I thought it was going to be daylight robbery. I thought there's no way Jeonbuk would have deserved anything of this. And at the end of the match, I wasn't. Maybe I was wrong on that. I think Jeonbuk did enough.
They looked all right, but I mean, the thing that I noticed, and maybe this is going to come up in some of the questions that we have, I haven't had time to check in on those just yet. I've just been in an absolute rage. I mean, the thing that killed me is that, okay, so you set your team up to fail. Let's just be honest with what Kim Do-hoon did. You set your team up to fail in the first half by just trying to bunker, hence why we name my location the Kim Do-hoon bunker. And then to make up for it in the second half, you're down a goal in a match that could pretty not secure the title, but make you real nice and comfortable in it, and finally prove to yourself and your players that you can win this match. And they're sitting deep and getting torn apart doing it. Like they had 5 defenders behind the line on that second goal, and Mo Barrow was just like, "Dad, I'll just do what I want. Does that sound cool, guys?" And Han Kyo-won, he cuts through 4 defenders. There are 5 defenders behind the line when they're losing a match. Why are you sitting that deep? And they had to win this game. They had to win this game.
Obviously came back into the side tonight, and he was very frustrated. He was shouting at his defence, and because he shouts in English, they could understand what he was saying as well.
Yeah.
So, okay. Anyway, we gotta.
For a change, I was going to actually praise Jose Mares, which is not something I kind of like to do, but you know, it's one of those nights. It's a Tuesday night in Jeonju, because I think it was the right call to just bin off his under-22 player tonight and the strongest team.
Yeah, you don't win anything with kids.
Yeah, he sacrificed that substitute, but it wasn't needed, was it? So a good call from him.
No, I mean, and that's the last thing that I'll say before we get down to the mailbag. Kim Do-hoon essentially did the same thing because he handcuffed himself by forcing in a U22 player and then subbing him out before 30 minutes. Like, Matthew, mailbag, please.
Okay, we have a number of questions in the mailbag today. Loads of lovely questions from our lovely readers. I'm going to go through some of the ones on Twitter. We have one in from our very own Jungmu Yol. He's saying that he thinks Ulsan's approach to the title race is wrong. They shouldn't have rotated the squad in Daegu and widened the gap with a win instead of going all in on this game. The gap would still have been 5 if they had lost to Jeonbuk today. And he thinks it's a misjudgment. And I guess it's more of a statement than a question, but what do you think?
100%. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, we'll keep that one short then, Muriel. But yeah, I think I agree with that. Yeah, it's wasted opportunities there, and we could have picked up easier points. Asri Furman coming in with, he may have ideas why this is the case, but he wants to know our opinion. Why has Ulsan been so laboured as of late, even before the Jeonbuk game?
Pete, you want to take this one?
Perhaps it's been a strange season, you know. It's been a cramped season with an unusual year. And they did win 8 of the last away games out of 9 this season in K-League. So they have been good on the road. It's just tonight they've come unstuck. It's the first defeat on the road all season in the league. Yeah,
I think that. But also I think one thing you shouldn't be overlooked is the last 3 games they haven't had Kim In-sung. He's been out injured, and he was on the bench today. He started on the bench because he wasn't fully fit. He came on. He didn't actually change anything really, but normally when he plays, he's a massive factor for Ulsan. I mean, he scored 9 goals last season, Kim In-sung. He's certainly a very creative player and very attacking player, and they work better when he's on the pitch. So I don't know how much that's had a factor, but that's something I would point to. Just as the non-Ulsan fan, as the fan of the opposition here.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Ross coming in hot here with how many hours till Kim Do-hoon is sacked. It's a disgraceful decision to not start Junior.
I mean, honestly, why did they even give him a contract? Look. And I'm just going to go in 2-footed on him tonight. If Kim Do-hoon's not in charge of this team, they have an FA Cup title and they win last year's K-League. Yeah. That's just the reality of the situation. This man cannot win a big game. There's too much talent on this team for them to keep choking. They choked in the FA Cup. They've choked in ACL. They're choking the second year in a row in the league. It's not good enough.
It's a difficult one because for me, I think that he's done a very good job, but I think he's taken them as far as he can. I think to get them to the stage they are, congratulations. Give him, a nice pay packet and say thanks, but we need to move on to somebody who can deliver. But I think he's created this team, and when they are firing, they are phenomenal. And I mean, they were all over Jeonbuk for a good portion of that first half, and I was terrified personally. So they are good. I just don't think he can't get them over the line, and that's it.
We've seen this way too many times. He can't play in a big game. He can't set his team up to win in a big game.
Yeah. Dan Croydon, our Ulsan Hyundai columnist. Sorry, I'm not laughing, Dan, I swear. No, I'm reading his question in my head. How do you mend a broken heart?
One question I wanted to ask, by the way, about this Ulsan Jeonbuk is, over the post-split fixtures, is there any? How do they decide who's at home in that? Because it'd have a big bearing on the title race.
It's randomly allocated.
Yeah,
as much as it can be. They try to divide it 3 and 2 usually. I don't know what now they're going to do. I don't know who will be one lucky team.
After watching Ulsan literally throw it away last year at home, maybe they don't want it at home this year.
We'll have to see. Baseball Brit has come in asking, how important is it for the growth and interest, in the K1 that a team other than Jeonbuk win the league soon? Not much.
I mean, I think it's massive. I think it's absolutely massive. I think we need that because, look, especially in the age of COVID, leagues, there's a lot of competition for eyeballs now. We were very fortunate in May when K-League was one of the first to come back, and we had that opportunity then. But now there's a lot of competition to watch these games while folks are still spending time at home. And if you can start the season and know, I mean, like, okay, why were they even playing Serie A? Just give Juventus the title right now. And it's not really that much different in K-League right now. I mean, I know Ulsan still has the lead, and they could still win, but I mean, if it's 2 points and they have to face Jeonbuk, we all know what's going to happen because it's what always happens.
Well,
but that I'm clearly a little animated. Pete, where are you weighing in on this?
Yeah, I think next season it'll be a 3-horse race because I think Pohang are gonna are building. I mean, those 2 games, Jeonbuk, Pohang, Ulsan, Pohang, and after the split, I think there'll be huge games. And obviously, we all know what happened last season. If it was a repeat of that again, I mean, you say Ulsan don't win big games, but they did win that 4-0 game down at the Steelyard earlier in the year. But maybe
massive.
Then it was
so much pressure.
No pressure. You took the words out of my mouth. Yeah.
I think I'd add to that saying, well, I mean, it's far from over, isn't it? It's not over, but this is kind of a message really to Ulsan today. But I'd also say that that stat that we've mentioned that Dan Croydon sent in a couple of podcasts ago about Ulsan having lost to any other side other than Pohang or Jeonbuk in the last 500 days. It's just it's phenomenal because the teams that they need to beat are what are preventing them from being truly great. As for the actual question itself, I think it's a delicate issue because it's hard as I'm a Jeonbuk fan, but I want to win it every year. But I can see the argument that it has to be more competitive. I think it is competitive this year and last year. I think the problem is you want teams to invest. Now, Ulsan have invested heavily. Jeonbuk have invested heavily. The league isn't going to grow if there isn't any money in the league. That doesn't mean I don't want teams outspend. I mean, Jeonbuk and Ulsan will always outspend, but the money has to stay in the league. There has to be investment, and the league has to be appealing. So it's a balance of trying to keep it competitive, but also trying to keep money flowing through this league, especially when there's no fans coming in at the moment. It needs to be entertaining to those on TV. So yes and no, Jeonbuk need to be up there. It would be my diplomatic answer.
Sure, and it would be great if they're challenging, but it's at least close, and we're not just giving it to them. Dan, our Ulsan columnist, has calmed down enough that he's got one in on Twitter. Said he's calmed down just about enough, and I see Pete's about ready to get the boot there. So Pete, we'll get you out of here on this one. Have Ulsan messed up early enough to pull themselves together and play angry enough to win is what Dan is asking. And I think he's asking you to assuage his fears and tell him that it's going to be okay, Pete.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Kim Do-hoon would make that mistake again of dropping someone like Junior. I think, and imagine if there was the fans in the stadium today. I wonder what their reaction would have been if, like, when he came off the bench, I'm sure there'd have been an ironic cheer. I mean,
oh, of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think they will be angry next game. I've forgotten who they've got next up before they split, but I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
Like tonight, Jeonbuk played with some anger, didn't they, at the start of the game?
They were fired up. They looked like a team determined for the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then it all calmed down a bit. And also, not calmed down rather, but also took a grip on the proceedings. Dan's just come in saying it's Incheon they've got, so Incheon might carry that great escape run and make it interesting. But we'll see. Like I think it will fire Ulsan up. I mean, especially now because Jeonbuk are going to verse them in within the next 6 games now, so it's not going to be there's a long, wait between the matches. The revenge is going to come quick if Ulsan wants it, and it's just a case whether Kim Do-hoon can deliver on it when it appears.
All right. Well, Pete's about to get the boot.
He's going to get kicked out. So
people don't. The internet doesn't need to see me screaming about things anymore. But
well, you can leave me if you want.
Yeah, we'll just. It's just going to be a very smug Matthew Binns for the next 2 hours. Anyway, Paul Need is taking the reins on the podcast this week. He has all sorts of interesting things lined up there. This will be part of it. And we do obviously have the podcast coming up next week. So if we weren't able to get to your questions, comments, or reactions in this, go ahead and get them in the comments now, and we'll get to them in next week's recording after the regular season has ended for K-League. Just one more match day coming up this weekend. Obviously, there are some games tomorrow. And then this weekend will be the last one before the split. And yeah, then we'll be talking about how the gap has been entirely closed, perhaps. We'll see. Anyway, for now, Pete, get out of there before they kick you out. Matt, I just don't even want to see your face for a little while.
I'll see you next week.
Yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.
공격 공격기 킹 신